Are you not the Messiah? Save yourself and save us.
Do you not fear God? You stand condemned under the same sentence.
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
We are punished justly, for we receive what our deeds deserve. But this man has done no wrong. Remember me when you come into your kingdom.
Truly, I say to you, today you will be with me in paradise. Father, Father, into thy hands I commit my spirit.
Amen. Probably my hardest gig, that, but I got through it.
What now?
Going home, where I'll sleep for 2 days straight. Be in touch about your compensation soon.
Be waiting for your call.
Yep. Later.
Child, I have a grave task for you. The literal kind. The Netrunner is still alive, but what happens to her is either a matter of time or your discretion. Bugbear is trapped in the net. If she jacks out, the Tiger Claws stand ready, waiting like vultures to tear her to shreds. And if she doesn't, her synapses will fry soon enough anyway. I am counting on you, V. See the details attached.
Yeah, but then we lose the goods.
This is about principles, not goods. Chick's taking us for a ride.
Hey, who's there?
good.
퍼시픽 웹은 LCPD 관할 지역에 속하지 않습니다. 이유를 말하면
Well done, my dear. I am pleased. As they say, we will be in touch. Contract closed. B, I need you to acquire something. Only me, no client. So expect quick and clean results. You will be entering Tiger Claw territory. Very high risk. More information attached.
Out of here! Now!
Enemy contact! I'm in...
What do you want from me?
For the love of... couldn't I have been stuck in some model's skull? Or, I don't know, a fucking landscape architect?
What is it now, Johnny?
Being dragged through roach-infested flop houses again. That's what.
Job's a job. Now what was that code?
fucking shit sty.
Wasn't slumming it in squats like your whole thing?
Sure, when I was skezzed out beyond all recognition.
Well.
Secret doors. How cliche. Why do peeps have to be so goddamn predictable?
Must be connected to those doors.
Or a shitter flushing somewhere, who knows?
Looks like Leo went to the Tiger Claws behind Waco's back.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Claws aren't the deal-honoring type.
Let's see if she got lucky.
Don't do this!
With Angelique Cosmetics, you can be anyone and have anyone.
Reminds me of...
Because
it was one tough fucking joint.
Dishonorable!
Wrong word, one sideways glance. Reminds me of this one dive in Arroyo we used to sometimes do sets in. Friday nights.
Because
it was one tough fucking joint. One wrong word, one sideways glance, and you'd get steel between the ribs.
Where are you hiding?
Sort of
Bingo. Come to mama.
Huh. And to think so many people died for this tiny little shit speck.
It's not the size that counts.
Both you and I know no one actually believes that.
Maybe the new guy.
I see you were able to find the lock breaker. Splendid work. Keep it up. Closing the contract. One of my netrunners is unresponsive, in spite of clear orders to remain in direct contact with me. Something must have happened. He would not dare go against me. Familiarize yourself with the brief and proceed swiftly. I need him.
Look, V, it's you in the near future. Every net runner ends up the same way. Brain fried by some corpo ice.
Looks like he's still breathing.
few seconds. Wait, I can't.
Wake up.
Give me one moment. I don't know how long I here, but as you Americans say, I'm starving.
Did you switch on the lights?
Yes. I was ready for a game of twice for yes, once for now. But you beat me to it. Fine work you did.
Any idea what's in the Corpo code case?
You young people ask too many questions. See for yourself.
Maybe it's not such a good idea after all.
Ah, you're a fast learner.
So, you're probably wondering who sent me.
Wakako. She always find an excuse to drag me to her place for dinner. You must visit me someday. I'll show you a few net running tricks.
Wasn't it me who just saved your ass?
We never stop learning hard lessons. But you don't have to do everything alone.
Thanks, I'll think about it.
I was informed of how you handled yourself. Good work. I expected nothing less from you. I am closing the contract.
Attention all NCPD subcons. Suspected... APB out on one Shinobu Imai, convicted on multiple counts of human trafficking and forced labor. City officials are offering a reward for neutralizing Imai's criminal network in the Willow Street area.
Arasaka has announced the sale of its unprofitable business. This is just the next step in the bold restructuring plan spearheaded by new CEO.
descent! Oh, fuck her up!
little respect!
What's cracking, Fingers?
My jaw. Excuse me? You I don't trust, and I certainly have no shortage of patience. Be best if you left. Now. A little respect!
No touchy.
Been thinking about getting some new chrome.
Then I think you'll come to the right place.
You new here? Seem to remember this ugly, slimy gonk, type with oozing flesh running the shop.
My uncle is not a handsome man, I know. But he's hard to forget once you see him.
Preem, yeah. Nothing like serving up a howler first time you meet someone. Talk to him.
You think it's a mistake to speak the truth?
True or not, it was rude, hurtful. What else would you call it if not a mistake?
And that is why I love to travel. Words. We think we know how to use them, but then there is context.
Glad you could clear your Glad you could clear your schedule.
Mind if I just peruse? Where's all this stuff come from?
Great secret. Gonna get anything? Because otherwise, you just taking a place.
Hey! Hi! You there! Mysterious stranger! Yoo-hoo! Yeah, you! There any other mysterious stranger around here? You know what? How about I tell you a joke?
Okay, what's going on?
Hey there, stranger! I'm Brendan, your friendly neighborhood SCSM, and the nicest AI in all of Night City. You can select from a wide range of beverages, or just drop by for a chat, anytime. Now it's your turn. What's your name?
Why am I talking to a schism? My name's V.
Pleasure to meet you, V. Do you come here often?
Nope, first time here.
Wouldn't you know? I could tell you weren't from around here. What with that homesickness of yours. And you know what the best cure for homesickness is? A sweet, refreshing, lightly carbonated beverage.
Okay, you've got me. I'm sold.
Sold? Nothing's gonna be sold here. Cause you know what? I'm gonna give you a can of Night Cola for free.
Thanks. Brendan, right?
That's right! Gosh, it's so cool you remembered. Even for a simple SCSM.
Cool. So did you want something from me?
Oh, yes. Well, I do apologize for taking advantage of you at this early stage in our friendship. But could I ask you for a favor?
What happened?
See that container in front of me? It's completely blocking my view of the street, depriving an SCSM of its greatest pastime. Could you move it a bit to the side? I'll reward you with my undying gratitude, even though technically I don't stock that.
I'll see what I can do.
She's gonna shoot us!
You mistake me for someone else!
Thank you, V. Boy, are you strong. Here, have a refreshing beverage. On me.
Catch you later, Brendan.
Catch me? Why? Will I be falling?
It's just something you say as a way of goodbye.
Oh, I get it. I mean, I don't, because catching has nothing to do with goodbyes, but... oh well. Don't humans say the darndest things? Catch you later, V. What a neat phrase.
Stuff you can equip is awesome, like this. 45% critical damage, and I'm pretty confident, I'm like 99% sure, that this is for your general stat. So this will apply to your quick hacks. That is amazing. Now this will increase your RAM by 5 units. This is up to you if you want to use it or not. I like having the extra RAM. And then finally, this is super important. You want to get that increased critical chance by 25%. That's huge, especially for your general stats. Now here's the thing. Whenever I'm like just standing around, I have a 75% general crit chance. And if I crouch and I get my sneaking perk to trigger, it's at 90%. Then if I get the kill and I get cold blood active with the final perk there, that's the other 10%. But that's kind of how it goes. So 25%, this is huge for your general stat. You definitely want that. Now for the actual eyeball, I am just stacking the headshot damage multiplier. This does stack, definitely do it. It's great. Now the only other one I would say you might want to use, and this is actually more for people who are not using an intelligence build, but you're using a tech weapon build, is threat detector. Because there are no like silenced tech weapons. The moment like you shoot it, you're probably in combat and you're going to be detected by everybody. And this will highlight them for you so you can see them through the walls. And that's really nice with a tech weapon. So definitely, use this if you don't have ping, for example. But if you have like intelligence and ping, and you're using that, that's all you need. Now let's talk about this. This is great. This is amazing. You need technical, and you're using that, that's all you need. Now let's talk about this. This is great. This is amazing. You need technical ability, I believe, for both of these. And the thing about this one is that this makes me almost invincible. Because if I am shooting my gun, if I'm fighting a boss or something, I am getting 10% of my health back each time I'm fully charging up the weapon and shooting it. That is crazy. This is amazing for Breach Protocol. It's only a green, too. I don't think there's any other rarity of this, but 100% duration increase.
Hey guys, Dantix here, bringing you another Cyberpunk 2077 guide. Today running through all the legendary and iconic cyberware you can buy in the game, where to get them, their attribute requirements, how much you need to save, and if they're worth your time. Starting at the Nomad Camp Ripper Dock, which is here. You get access to this location naturally during the storyline. In the circulatory system, there is blood pump. It's assigned to your quick slot, and when you activate it, it instantly restores 90% of your max health on a long cooldown. The main thing is that it's instant, as health consumables aren't, though I doubt you'll ever run out of them. You need a high 15 body to even equip this, and it costs 35,000 eddies, not something I'd be in a rush to get. Next is the biomonitor. This one instantly restores your health to 100% when your health drops to 15% or lower on a 2-minute cooldown. This one requires 18 in body and costs 42,000 eddies. Now, this one, if you have high body, is definitely a cyberware you should consider, as it basically gives you a second life without using a quick slot. Bioconductor is next and reduces all your cyberware's cooldowns by 30%. Yes, that includes both the biomonitor and the blood pump, as well as the high-end operating systems we'll be seeing soon. If you have 18 in body, there really isn't a reason not to pick this up for a low 14,000 eddies. Moving over to the Rancho Coronado Ripper, which is located here. Also within the circulatory system, we have the micro generator. When your health drops to 15%, you release an electric shock that deals damage equal to 50% the target enemy's max health and applies the shock status. I don't need to explain how powerful that is, as any percentage-based damage means big enemies will be very unhappy with this. Shock also stuns enemies, so if they're close, they'll be giving you some room to breathe. For only 7,000 eddies, if you have 16 technical, there'd be no reason not to pick this up. Next is the Pacifica Ripper, located here. Since this is the turf of the Voodoo Boys, you can expect a net running focus. First, in the frontal cortex, we have the X disc. It increases your Cyberdeck's max RAM by 5. That's the cost of an expensive demon, so you can't complain about that. It takes 18 intelligence to equip and costs 28,000 eddies. If you're a net running build, this is a no-brainer, pun intended. Right next to it is the visual cortex support. Interestingly enough, high intelligence cyberware seems to support crit chance and damage. If you're an offensive focused quick hacker, more damage is definitely appreciated. At 45% extra crit, you're laughing. It takes 16 intelligence and costs 21,000 eddies. Next is the Camillo RAM Manager. When your Cyberdeck's RAM reaches 2 or less, you instantly restore 30% of it. This obviously works well together with X Disk, as it increases your base RAM amount. So if you have a total of 10, you'll free 3 RAM when you've reached 2 RAM or less. Very handy in sticky situations. You need 16 intelligence to equip it, and it costs 14,000 eddies. Then in operating system, we have the Stevenson Tech Mark IV Legendary Cyberdeck. It has a base of 10 RAM, 8 buffer size, and 6 slots. Your cooldowns are reduced by a huge 45%, combat hacks duration increased by 50%, and upload time reduced by 25%. This is a solid cyberdeck for an offensive-focused netrunner. You need 35,000 eddies and a very high street cred level. Then we have the Fuyu Sui Tinker Mark IV. It has a lower 8 RAM and 7 buffer size, but also has 6 slots. It increases your RAM recovery rate by 9 units a minute, or roughly 1 every 6.6 seconds. It increases combat quick hack durations by 50%, and increases quick hack spread distance by 40%. If you're using a lot of spreading combat quick hacks, the drop in RAM size might be worth the higher recovery rate. This cyberdeck costs more as well, at 43,750 eddies and a very high street cred level. Moving over to the Arroyo Ripper Dock, which is located here. Within the nervous system slots, we have Neo Fiber. It flat increases evasion by 15%, no bells and whistles. If you have 18 reflex and 7,000 Eurodollars, pick this up, as it's another no-brainer worth every eddy. Next is the Kolesnikov, which slows down time by a huge 90% for 3.5 seconds when you block, aim, or attack during a slide or a dodge. With a low 5-second cooldown, you're basically always in bullet time with this cyberware if you play it well. It costs 35,000 eddies and requires 18 in reflex, so if you've invested that far, pick it up. Now we see the first powerful operating system for a high body stat. This one is called the Zetatech Berserk Mark IV. By pressing E, you don't need to hold it, you go into Berserk state that boosts your output and how much damage you can take. You also restore health on kills and can do a superhero landing when falling from heights, which damages enemies, so it can also be used to safely jump off buildings. It has a 5-second duration and a low 10-second cooldown. By taking this slot, you give up the ability to quick hack, as you need the cyber deck for that. You are required to have 16 body and 35,000 eddies for this one, but I highly recommend picking up a Berserk Legendary as soon as you have the required attribute if you're focusing on body. Because this one has a low cooldown, any mods that reduce the cooldown or increase the duration will make you feel like you can always put Berserk on. Next, we have the Wellsprings Ripper Dock located here. Within the circulatory system, we have the Sync Lungs. It simply increases your stamina by 25%. If you use a lot of stamina, especially in melee builds, dropping 7,000 eddies won't break the bank. You're required to have 16 body though. With the same amount of body, you can get a second heart. This restores your health to 100% when your health drops to 0, basically giving you a second life just like the Biomonitor. So with them both equipped, plus the Bioconductor which reduces their cooldowns, it would be very unlikely that you'll ever actually die again. It costs 42,000 eddies, so the grand total for all three in the circulatory system would be 91,000 eddies. Considering that you'd need a high body stat, you'd naturally have high health as well. Moving over to the operating system slot, we have the iconic legendary Militech Falcon Sandivision Mark V. I'm just going to call these Sandy Vision. All of the different types of Sandy Vision should be considered if you have a reflex focus. You should be 100% getting on these as a priority, as they add so much to your character even though you sacrifice the ability to quick hack. This version slows down time by 30% on an 18-second duration and a 60-second cooldown. It also gives 20% extra crit chance and 35% extra crit damage. It's for those who want to make an impact with one use, as a minute cooldown is longer than most others. It requires 20 reflex and 43,750 eddies. Then we have a cyber deck, the Netwatch Net Driver Mark V. It has the highest RAM yet at 11, 8 buffer size and 6 slots. It makes it so offensive quick hacks can be uploaded to 3 targets of the group together within 6 meters, essentially giving you a quick hack splash. Also increases your quick hack damage by 30%, increases the RAM recovery rate by 9 a minute, and increases the spread distance by 60%. It's basically the best of the Stevenson and the Tinkerer. I don't see why you wouldn't choose this one over them. You'll need 43,750 eddies and 49 level street cred. Note that in the arm slot, this Ripper has the legendary versions of the Monowire, Mantis Blades, Gorilla Arms, and projectile launch systems. Increasing the quality increases the mod slots, but they cost a huge 100,450 eddies. You can find most of these in the world, so it would be smarter avoiding buying it, simply getting the base versions until then. If you don't use melee or aren't into sacrificing your grenade slot, just use the Gorilla Arms, as it also lets you open doors easier and rip out turrets on their holders, as well as helping you during the fistfight side quests. Moving over to the Charter Hills Ripper Dock located here. In the operating system slot, we have an iconic Berserk, the Militech Berserk Mark V. This one gives a much bigger boost to stats than the last and lasts for 10 seconds with a 60-second cooldown. It also increases health gain and max stamina while active. It requires 18 body and 43,750 eddies. This is the Berserk for you if you prefer to make more of an impact when you activate it. Then we have the Tenetronic Rippler Mark IV Cyber Deck. It has a base of 10 RAM, 8 buffer size, and 6 slots. It makes it so ultimate quick hacks can spread once, reduces your ultimate quick hack RAM cost by 3, reduces quick hack upload time by 75%, and cooldown by 45%. This deck is for those who focus on using the most advanced and powerful quick hacks, your ultimates. They generally cost a ton of RAM, so make sure to also pick up the X disc from the Pacifica Ripper. This cyber deck also costs 43,750 eddies and requires a very high street cred level. Then finally, we have some legendaries in the skeleton slots. First is the Synaptic Signal Optimizer. It requires a body stat of 20 and 28,000 eddies, but in return, it gives you a huge 60% more health. If you combine this with the second heart package, wow, I don't know how you'll ever die. You just need a lot of investment. If you're a melee champion, getting bionic lungs, which increases your stamina by a huge 60%, might be the way to go. It requires 18 body and a low 7,000 eddies, so it's easy to pick up and forget. Moving on to the Downtown Ripper Dock, located here. In the popular circulatory system slot, we have bioplastic blood vessels. It requires 14 body and 14,000 eddies. It increases health regeneration outside of combat by 50 health per second. Honestly, I find this one fairly basic. Considering body attribute focused characters have so many options for these slots, I recommend giving this one a miss, as regenerating is easy as using a consumable, which you always have a ton of. Finally, heading over to the immune system, we have Shock and Awe. After taking damage, there's a 10% chance you release a large electro shock that deals damage to enemies. If you have 15 cool, drop that low 7,000 eddies and don't ask questions. It's in a sparsely populated slot and provides you with some breathing room for a low cost. In the operating system slot, we have another Sandy Vision. This one is the Warp Dancer Iconic Legendary. It only slows time by 10%, which is the lowest, for only 8 seconds on a 30-second cooldown, but that's not what it's for. It also increases your crit chance by 10% and your damage by 15%. However, it boosts your crit damage by a huge 50%. Even though this is a massive boost to damage, the standard Sandy Vision you get from Vic, which you can see I have equipped, I find much better, as an increased duration is more valuable to me. Then we have the Arasaka Mark IV Cybertech. 10 RAM, 8 buffer, 6 slots, which is the standard. This one, though, reduces covert quick hacks by 2. It also resets the duration of ping when quick hacking a target already pinged. Finally, it increases combat quick hack durations by by 40%. Look, this is the cyber deck you use if you're playing very stealthily focused, with a higher cool stat. Otherwise, there are better cyber decks out there for combat. It costs 35,000 eddies, which is cheaper than most, but it costs 50 street cred. Just note, this Ripper also has the legendary arm cyberwares as well. Next, we have the first Japantown Ripper, Fingers, located here. You'll naturally visit him during the story. In the immune system slot, we have the Pain Airter. With 16 cool, you reduce all incoming damage by 10%. Or, if you have 16 cool and 28,000 eddies, this is another might as well get piece of tech. The Kata Resist, though, requires 15 cool and 14,000 eddies. Unless you're playing on very hard or even hard, resistances don't matter, as you can heal through most elemental damage, though if you're on very hard, this will definitely help. Next, we have another Sandy Vision, the Quaint. This one has a lower total duration, but a much lower cooldown. With the right mods, you could have the bullet time effect up more often than you don't. I find this one superior to the one from Vic, as having the effect up more seems more valuable than an extra 4-second duration. It costs 35,000 eddies and takes 18 in reflex. Note that I haven't seen any legendary leg modifications yet, so decide between having a higher jump, a double jump, a hovering ability, or better sneak. Moving on, we have the second Japantown Ripperdoc, located here. In the frontal cortex, we have the limbic system enhancement. Like I mentioned before, intelligence gets crit chance and damage with cyberware, and this one gives a huge 25% increase to crit chance for 15 intelligence and 21,000 eddies. If you're an offensive character, there's no reason not to get this unless space is tight. Speaking of tight space, if you have high reflex, you'll be racking your brain what to put in the nervous system. We already saw the Kresnikov and the Neofiber. Now check out the Synaptic Accelerator. It slows time by 50% for 4 seconds when you're detected. It costs 35,000 eddies and 18 reflex. Overall, I prefer the Kresnikov if I needed to choose to this, as the Kresnikov is a 90% slow and can be applied very often. Then we have the Reflex Tuner, which slows time by 80% when your health drops to 25%. This one will save your life, giving you time to speed past enemies before they can react while you heal. For 17,500 eddies, you might as well combine this with the Kresnikov or even the Neofiber for a more tankier reflex build with that 15% evasion. In the operating systems, we have another Berserk, the Biodyne Mark IV. This one requires 16 body and 35,000 eddies. It has a low duration of 5 seconds and a high cooldown of 35 seconds, but gives you large buffs. The big boon though is that it also increases range attack damage by 20%, which the others don't do. So if you're focusing on shotguns or machine guns in the Annihilation skill tree, this is the Berserk for you. Next we head over to the Little China Ripperdoc, which is located here. Our good friend Victor. Here's when you can get the Sandy Vision I've been using to compare to the others for the same price and requirements, as well as the epic quality Kuroshi eye implant. He also sells in the hand slot the legendary Smart Link for 21,000 eddies. It does the basic Smart Link thing of letting you target your smart weapons effectively, but also increases their chance to hit by 15 and increases crit damage by 25%. If you're using smart weapons like the Skippy, which you can find here, I recommend picking this cyberware up. Then we have the first Kabuki Ripperdoc located here. In the bone slot, we have micro rotors, which increases your attack speed by 25%. If you have 18 reflex and 14,000 eddies, as well as a melee focus, this one will definitely help you out. Combined with the stamina cyberwares you get, you'll be unstoppable. In the hand slot, we have the legendary ballistic compressor. The difference between this and the rare version is simply that it increases the number of times bullets will ricochet by 2. I never found bullet ricochet that useful. In fact, more often than not, it would stray and kill a civilian, getting the cops on me mid-fight. It costs 21,000 eddies, and I'd avoid this unless you really like power weapons. Moving over to the second Kabuki Ripperdoc, located here. Finally, we get some integumentary system cyberwares, the subdermal armor, which increases your armor by a massive 200 for 14,000 eddies. Pick this up if you want to be a tank. Moving over to the operating system, we have the iconic legendary Zetatech Berserk Mark V. This one seems to increase your stats by the most for a 10-second duration on a 30-second cooldown. It restores health when you defeat enemies. For 18 body and 43,750 eddies, this is one of the best Berserks out there, so seriously consider it. Then we have the Raven Micro Cyber Mark IV Cyberdeck. It has the standard 10-8-6, but increases the time it takes for an enemy netrunner to hack you by 100%, it increases the spread distance by 60% and RAM recovery rate by a lower 6 per minute. This one definitely seems more defensive than the others, but if you're not having trouble with enemy netrunners, I feel a good offense is the best defense. It costs 35,000 eddies and, like the others, requires a high street cred level. The third Ripper in Kabuki is next and is located here. In the circulatory system, we have the feedback circuit. For 15 technical and 21,000 eddies, you can instantly restore 10% of your health after you discharge a fully charged weapon. If you like tech weapons, this will keep you tip-top. And there really isn't anything much better for a high technical in this slot. For 18 body and 28,000 eddies, you can pick up the Adrenaline Booster. It instantly restores 50 stamina when you defeat an enemy. Once again, great for melee builds, and with the percentage increases you get from other cyberware, you'll be smashing and slashing forever. The last Ripper we have is in North Side, located here. In the frontal cortex, we have Heal on Kill, which does what it says out of the box. Heals you for 10% after defeating an enemy. If you have 18 reflexes and 35,000 eddies, this will keep you cream. It's a great piece of tech and shouldn't be overlooked. The mechatronic core gives you a huge 50% increase to damage when attacking drones, mechs, and robots, though I don't find them very common at all. You'll need 16 technical ability and 21,000 eddies. If you have the spare cash, why not? And that's it. What cyberware are you going to pick up according to this video? Let me know below. If you liked it, leave a comment, leave a like, and subscribe. You know what to do. Help me get to that 200k. If you like Cyberpunk and RPG content, you're already in the right place. Ciao, friends.
there is a problem, you got rid of it. I'm happy, the client's even happier. Good work, V. Gig closed.
Let's get this over with. Show yourself. Come out.
for Breach Protocol. That's awesome. This one, honestly, any of the ones that do damage to enemies, I'm not really sure on how good they are or not, but, I just have it because why not? It's legendary. I'm going to equip it. I believe this one requires intelligence, and I have no idea where you get it. But it's the same thing. You have a 10% chance of doing an electrical shock or something like that. And it seems to be pretty decent, so I definitely would say you should use it. And this one is good just because it reduces all damage by 10%. That's awesome. I've talked about this. Basically, whenever you're sneaking, you might get detected a little bit. If you do, it will slow down time. You can basically back up. That's the main purpose of it. Really helpful. This is great. It allows you to basically do the infinite speed exploit. That's one thing. And also, if I want to get slow down time, I can dodge to do it in combat. Pretty decent. Now, the shoulders, honestly, 2 of these are useless for me. One is I get immunity to shock. Well, that's useless. I already have immunity to shock because of cold blood. Same with this one. This one basically makes you immune to burn. But it also allows you to do more damage when you're burning. But I'm immune to burn, so it's countering this. And to me, I'd rather be immune to everything. This is great. You definitely want this. 200 armor, awesome. And when it comes to the skeleton, I like to have increased health, so I have the 20% increased health. And you don't really need anybody to equip this. And you can actually put another one in here. To be honest, I don't really need the whole reduced recoil. I'm never really shooting. And another one you could use is actually increased carrying capacity. That would probably be a pretty decent one. I have the smart link in here. I was using smart weapons for a while, but I'm not using them anymore. But the other option, it's for power weapons, I'm not using them either. So it's kind of whatever. And of course, I'm using the projectile launch system. Now, something I'm not 100% sure about, but you can put mods in these. And the mods you can put in can give you crit chance and crit damage. And I do think maybe they apply to your general stat. If they do, they're awesome. If not, it's really whatever. And then finally, I have double jump. Double jump, I definitely think is the best legs in the game, just because it's super useful. Really, really helpful for moving around. So now, let's actually talk about my weapons and my gear and all that. Now, first of all, I've already mentioned this. This is the Widowmaker. This is absolutely my favorite tech weapon in the game, I think. I love this thing. It's a precision rifle. It uses assault rifle ammo, though. That's awesome. Now, the thing about this is the iconic version, and you can get this really early. You can get this from the very first quest that you do, main quest, but Pan Am. And basically, at the end of that quest, there's a guy named Nash, and then you can take him out, and then you can pick up his gun. It's the Widowmaker. And the thing is, what I would probably recommend to do, while you can, is any iconic gun that you think you might use and you're going to upgrade through crafting, just go ahead and duplicate it. That way you have multiple copies of it, and you can always have a copy so that if you are actually crafting it and then you lose the weapon at that point, you can always craft it again, because sometimes, you figure out oh man, I messed up with the crafting. And this is a weapon you can easily mess up. Tech weapons in general, you can mess up. You want to get charge multiplier. That's super, super important. Now, one of the beautiful things about this weapon is that this weapon is super good with poison. And our whole build, a lot of it is to do with poison. So this is so perfect. So, so perfect. Now, one of the things I try to go for with this is I try to go for a really low charge time. It's up to you if you want it or not, but you have a higher charge time and you have a lower charge time. And generally, it's a give or take when it comes to your crafting. You have to give something up to get something. So I don't know what you have to give up for the lower charge time, but maybe it's headshot multiplier or something. You can get a little bit higher. But the thing is that what makes this weapon so great is that it fires 12 attacks. Okay? 12 attacks at once. That is crazy. And it fires, even though it's a precision rifle and it's super accurate, it fires kind of like a shotgun, where you can just kind of generally aim at the enemy for it. Now, something I want to point out is my armor stat. My armor stat is 4,668. That is crazy good. Now remember, the cold blood, it will double it. So we will get 8,200. And I pretty much become almost invincible at that point. So here's the thing. When it comes to your armor selection, what you're going to use whatever you think looks cool. That's what I say. Just go for fashion. You don't need a helmet. You just don't. Now, the thing is that, I'll give you an example. I'm using this Net Runner Info Visor. I am using some legendaries because you can get more mod slots with legendaries. But if you want to use like epics because they look better to you, use epics. It's fine. It's totally okay. Because what you can do is you can actually stack some of these armor mods. Now, the thing is that you cannot stack these if they're the same. That's what I've noticed. So like an example, this is a 241. I believe this is the max you can get. Can't get higher than this. And this is like level 50, by the way. And you can use one of this, but you can't use two 241s. So instead, you can use another one if it has a different value. So this one has 239, and it stacks. Same with this one. This one stacks too, and it has 236. Now, if you actually take a look at these, it's all the same, you know? And this just ups my armor by a lot. So that's the thing. Like, you don't need to worry about looking ugly if you can get your hands on some of these armor mods. Now, right now, it's fine for the most part because you can duplicate. So, like, you get the blue one, you duplicate it. You get the purple one, you duplicate it. You get a green one, you duplicate it. And then you just throw them in your armor, and you can look cool your entire playthrough. My first playthrough, I looked like an idiot most of the time because I was just kind of going for the best stats, the most mod slots. Now, another thing I have to point out, because a lot of people don't like realize this or know this, but when it comes to these legendary mods, this is something I've, found out myself. But basically, these do not stack at all. You can use one of each. So you can get the 30% crit damage, and you can get the 15% crit chance. Now, in the future, maybe these might stack. They might actually work. But I just want to point that out. Now, another thing is, and I have duplicated a lot of this, if you're wondering, obviously. Another thing is Deadeye. Deadeye is actually, like, bugged. It doesn't work at all. If I could have this, I would be, like, so much better. Like, I would honestly be way stronger. My crit chance would be 100% all the time, basically, for my quick hacks. But right now, Deadeye, it doesn't work, so don't even bother putting it in your armor. It doesn't work at all. And that's the same with this Predator one. This Predator one could be good, too, because this does, like, 25% more damage against high threat and moderate threat enemies. This thing would be awesome, but, it doesn't work. So at least right now, don't bother with it. And yeah, I mean, that's basically it. Like, that's what you want to do. You just want to find armor that you think looks nice. Now, because of this, like, shirt I have on, like, it covers up, like, my Net Runner suit, but I have 4 slots in this suit, so that's great. I like the visor just because, to me, it kind of fits, like, the build, because I'm always hacking, and I'm scanning, and I just think, like, the visor kind of plays into that. But the rest of this armor, like I said, I just like it because of the way it looks. So I just use it for that. And there you go, guys. I mean, that's pretty much it when it comes to this build. I definitely, think this build is amazing. There's no doubt. And what's great as well is that this is going to be a very good, legit build. When there are no more exploits, if they patch everything, this will absolutely still destroy with a legit build. It should be easy to get together with a legit build, just because you can make money if you want with Breach Protocol. You can easily get all the components you need for your crafting of your quick hacks through Breach Protocol. And if you just kind of focus on 1 or 2 weapons, you can easily just craft them up. And there you go. Like I said, the Widowmaker is amazing. Like, it is an amazing, amazing rifle. Really easy to use, and it can just destroy everything. Alrighty, guys. Well, I really do hope that you have enjoyed this video and that it has helped. If it has, will you please like the video for me? It definitely helps me out, and I really do appreciate it. And also, be sure to subscribe for future Cyberpunk videos. And if you do subscribe, click the bell. That way you can stay notified. Thank you so much for watching, and I really do hope that everyone has a very nice day. And peace out.
So in this video, earlier today, CD Projekt
So yeah. Alright, I am back with a Cyberpunk 2077 video. It's almost hard to say that with a straight face because I have not been doing a lot of updates on the game because there are not a lot of updates with the game, but I have been inspired to do this latest video because of a really bizarre kind of investor presentation that CDPR did this past week, and also kind of just a state of like where we are after 6 months and where we're going, or where we're not going, because this is just the situation that keeps on giving in terms of how kind of absurd it is. In terms of the actual game, there is almost nothing to report. They have had a bunch of two major patches really, and then a bunch of hotfixes, and those have mostly been about kind of stomping out very specific quest bugs and improving performance on certain machines. The game still does not run well on its most problematic platforms. PlayStation 4 original and Xbox One. Xbox One, I think, is the worst baseline metric for the game, where I think the best console version is the PS5, which is running the PS4 Pro version. All of these patches have not made Sony let Cyberpunk back on the PlayStation Store, where it has been banned since about a week after launch, so pretty much 6 months at this point. And there is no indication about when or if it will be coming back. And we're getting close to a couple months from now. Allegedly, we are going to see the release of the PS5 and Xbox Series X next-gen versions, so it might not ever come back. They might just release the PS5 version. But it's not clear what bar that the game needs to hit to make it back onto the store. In terms of actual gameplay, just very, very little has changed. They've done some tuning to police response and things like that, where the police won't instantly spawn in front of you, but it's not, they haven't patched in a GTA police system or anything. They're teleporting. They're just not showing up 4 feet in front of you. They're showing up 20 feet ahead of you or something like that. They've done minor things like, the car icons are now car icons instead of quest icons, which is confusing. And there's more crafting blueprints for legendary clothing and things like that. But it's just in terms, if you've just been playing the game, there is very, very little difference, other than maybe it runs better on whatever platform you're using. But that's about it. In terms of where we are kind of in the state of the series, we got a pretty clear picture of that with this investor report, where CDPR was doing everything humanly possible to avoid actually talking about the state of the game's sales and its upcoming content and stuff. We'll just start with the sales, where they did not give any sales numbers. They refused to give specific sales numbers for all of Q1. An analyst asked them if he had an estimate using his own sort of calculations that he uses for the industry, that it had sold 800,000 copies in all of Q1. That would be as opposed to 13.7 million copies it sold in 3 weeks in December. And the CDPR was like, no, that's not quite right, but they didn't give an alternative figure. But they did acknowledge that they have not sold any new retail units. All the retail units that are being sold, the physical units, are still from what they sold last year. So those have not sold out, and they have not sold the stores more copies. So no physical units were sold. It has not been on the PlayStation Store, so it has not been accessible to 150 million PS4 players or anyone who owns a PS5 for the entire quarter. So the only sales would be Xbox, PC, or Stadia digital copies. And Stadia doesn't need to count, obviously. It's minimal. And they said the majority is on PC, and from the start, the majority was on PC. But that suddenly makes that 800,000 figure not seem all that implausible when there are apparently no physical sales and the entire platform of PlayStation has been wiped out. And that would be enough for a game that didn't have all sorts of disastrous problems and this terrible PR kind of quagmire it's caught in. But obviously, kind of the state of the game and the buzz around the game being so negative drove sales down even further, something that CDPR has said in the past, that PlayStation removing it from the store kind of sent a signal about the quality of the game that would depress sales on other platforms, not just PlayStation. So that's where sales are at. Not great. And then they released a couple of very fun charts here. The first one is fun. It's just a graph that shows the crash rates of the game decreasing over time with different patches. It shows a spike right after each patch, and then it goes down, and it is down by the end. The problem is there's no y-axis, and we do not know what the rate has gone from. You would assume the bottom line is 0. Who knows? It might not be. You see graphs all the time that don't have the bottom is 0. This could be an 80% crash rate going to a 40% crash rate, or a 2% crash rate going to a 1% crash rate. We don't know, because there are no numbers, so we don't know what the crash rate of this game originally was at. Obviously, the game also had many, many problems that didn't involve, literally the game crashing. There were, countless technical problems that were outright crashes, but were bugged missions or poor performance and things like that. So even if this had numbers, I think that's only kind of illustrating a fraction of the amount of technical problems the game has. And then my favorite thing they showed off is their new roadmap. And by new roadmap, I mean their old roadmap with less information on it. The original roadmap they had was already comically light on information. Most games that are planning updates in the future will have specific dates and timelines and deadlines and kind of details about what their content is that's coming up. And Cyberpunk isn't a live service game, no, but it's has all these updates coming, and it has free DLC, and it has next gen versions, and it has paid DLC. Literally the only thing on this chart is the past patches and hotfixes that have gone up, which no need to highlight those because they already happened, and it's not really a roadmap if things happened in the past. And then the entirety of the roadmap is just a list of free DLC coming and PS5 and Xbox Series X versions coming in the second half of the year. I'm not sure if they're now saying both of those are happening in the second half of the year. The old roadmap at least seemed to indicate that the free DLC was coming in the first half of the year, but we are now in the last month of the first half of the year and nothing has been talked about. So we have no idea. Again, that is not going to be like huge DLC even. This is supposed to be like a lot of cosmetic stuff, maybe some shorter gig missions. Like it is supposed to be kind of on the scale of The Witcher 3. And as they helpfully point out, it even says small DLC or small free content with an asterisk in this chart. And then just improvements and fixes or whatever it says, multiple patches and updates. And like, it's literally nothing. There is nothing on this roadmap that is concrete in any capacity, which is just so ridiculous to see. And we have gotten, we don't have any idea when the next big patch is coming. We don't know when free DLC is coming. And the optimisms of the community that are left, the optimists are saying that like they just have their heads down and they're just working. But I do not think that they are going in full Hello Games mode. Reportedly, I think Tom Warren said this from The Verge, that there are still 300 people working on Cyberpunk, which means everyone else, I forget how big CDPR is, I can look it up, but it's significantly more than that. That means all of those people are still doing bug fixes, but those are also the people working on free DLC and paid DLC and the next gen updates. And all of that kind of adds up to be like, that's not a ton of people, I guess, working on it. Like in terms of like a game that needs to be kind of transformed at a base level in certain aspects, like that, taking that many people off of it to go work on whatever is next, Witcher 4, I don't know what they're doing, seems not ideal. But they maintain, like literally it says on the roadmap, like this is our plan for long-term success, and they want to have a big turnaround story for this. But so far they have given no signs of the type of turnaround that you would want to see from this game as happening, and when we can expect that happening. It has been patch and patch and patch and patch, and it is still not running well enough on last-gen consoles to be good enough for Sony. It's still not a great experience there. I think it's perfectly passable on like higher-end consoles now, and obviously PC, but it's a more narrow kind of array of the player population. And then, we were, by this point in The Witcher 3's life cycle, like Blood and Stone was already out. So like we are way behind their normal schedule of like when to expect additional content from these games. And Cyberpunk paid DLC will likely not be out until 2022, which means it will not be out in any size until a year after the game is out, which puts it like way off schedule of how they did The Witcher in the past. And as you remember, The Witcher 3 launched with a lot of technical problems too, and was in a very bad state at launch. But this is kind of another level, and almost 7 months later now, we still have very, very little information about what's coming and when. And the only real improvements to the game have been like specific bug fixes, unbreaking quests, and performance fixes. So it's essentially like finishing the game. And it's still not even, every time they post a patch, you'll have 1,000 people posting the bugs and glitches they're still getting. So they're endless, seemingly. So that's where we are. And if I'm not talking about this game that much anymore, this is why, because they have given us so few updates. Maybe they're going to announce free DLC at E3 or something. I don't know what their plan is for E3, if they're even having a presence there. But a lot of people are announcing things around this window. So if they're going to announce anything about a date for the next-gen versions or when free DLC is coming, it would be about that time to do that now. So that's where we are. We've never been in a great place, obviously, but nothing really has changed in 6 or 7 months now, and it is kind of wild to see that on a game this high profile with a developer that was this beloved previous to this. So I'm fascinated by the story. It's why I do continue to cover it, even though a lot of people aren't. And I am looking forward to anything to get me back into playing actual new content in the game again, just to try it out. Because there are so many base fundamentals about the game I do like, and this whole mess has just been kind of very unfortunate. So that's where we are, and now it's back to Destiny and my usual stuff there. So, all right, I'll see you guys next time. Take care.
Salutations, everybody. It is Maddie here today, and where in the
world am I? That's right, we're back in the bedroom. The OG corner is being put back into use because there's construction work happening around the studio space. So I thought, hey, a little too loud to record there. I'll take my chances here at home with my very loud dogs that I'm sure will inevitably bark during this video. Hope you all understand, because today we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077, a game that I'm very selectful on when I talk about it, because the conversation can get pretty negative and aggressive at times, and I like the good vibes, as you can probably tell by most of the channel. So I don't dive into Cyberpunk all that often, but I thought this bit of news was quite interesting because there's been some updates to the roadmap, and not very positive ones. But speaking of not positive, it's also showing the impact of the rough launch for Cyberpunk. We already know that CD Projekt Red made their money back just through raw pre-orders with Cyberpunk 2077, but since then, it is literally slowed down to a snail's pace. And I think it's quite fascinating to look at when you break down some of the numbers. Obviously, we don't care about the financial status of any of these big companies, so don't get that twisted. It's just very interesting to see how everything has evolved. But before any of that, a word from our sponsor.
Look at all of this money that I've made. Oh, hey there, Mr. Bethesda here. Now, I know, typically, you're the one who's getting ripped off by me. But this time around, I'm doing some of the promotion work on behalf of someone else. Now, while I'm good at ripping people off, there's one thing I don't like to rip off, and that's ball hair. That's why I have the Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0. Whether it be a gift for yourself or your father, let's be honest, you got to protect the home you came from. The Lawnmower 4.0 is the ideal treat for anyone interested in below-the-waist grooming. It's waterproof, it's a cordless trimmer, it has advanced ceramic blades with skin-safe technology, and the performance is absolutely incredible. So if you want to up your game below the waist, then join over 2 million men worldwide who trusted Manscaped. Get 20% off plus free international shipping when you use the promo code Maddie at manscaped.com. Your balls and Mr. Bethesda will thank you.
So let's get into this conversation on Cyberpunk. We're going to be tracking this game, I'm sure, into E3, where there's maybe a chance we see the updated next-gen version that was promised a while ago, and some of the free DLC that's coming to the game, because all's been quiet on the CD Projekt Red front. So this is going to be a combination of articles from Forbes and Reuters. Let's start off with Reuters, where their article is titled, Cyberpunk Maker Reports Slump in Quarterly Profit Amid PlayStation Delisting. Yes, fun fact, Cyberpunk 2077, still not on the PlayStation Store. Okay, let's keep going. CD Projekt not saying how many units of Cyberpunk 2077 it sold in the quarter, being the first number of months in the new year. The company's chief financial officer, Pyotr Nubelich, told a conference call that about 60% of first quarter product sales came from Cyberpunk sales without providing details. That's because the numbers were incredibly low. This is not the first time we've seen a financial impact from the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. Pretty immediately after the fact, CD Projekt Red shares tank on bad Cyberpunk console reviews.